Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. It's always funny when I'm doing these because I can see myself and I'm like, oh, okay. So my name is Ada, and I am the CEO of Skillcrush, founder and CEO, and I'm super excited to. I'm getting a note from my team saying I can't see me, but now they can see me. So I'm super excited to be hosting this webinar today. We are going to be talking all about Skillcrush blueprints. I'm going to be taking questions from you guys about, what you're thinking, what you're wondering about both our programs and what steps you should take. And I'm just really excited to dive in. There's been an enormous amount of questions. They're really, really good, really smart. You guys, I'm just always love hearing from students and prospective students. So I'm really excited to dive in, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So go ahead. Actually, here, I will show you guys. All right, so it looks like everyone can see this. Cool. So let's begin. So you're here for one simple reason, and that's because you're ready to launch a new career in tech and you want to learn which path to take. So I'm excited to talk to you all about that. And let me just try one thing. Okay. Just want to make sure that this has the most recent updates to our presentation. There we go. Thanks, guys. All right, that is not the right slide. Here we go. All right, cool. So we're going to be talking all about what step you should take. And of course, it's not a one-size-fits-all answer. So, we'll be talking about, we'll be sort of going through some different situations that you guys find yourselves in, some different goals, and, what choices and programs make sense for you given those circumstances. So, over the course of this webinar, we took a bunch of questions ahead of time, and thank you so much for all of you who submitted questions ahead of time, but we're also going to be taking questions live, of course. So please go ahead and post your question if you have one in the Facebook comments below this video, and we'll be answering them as we go. I'm going to be answering as many as I can during the webinar itself, and my team is also going to be answering the questions in the comments, and we promise to get to every single question. We may not get to every single question within the hour, but we will do it as soon as we possibly can and as quickly as we can type and answer those questions. And yeah, so please feel free to ask any questions that you have as we go. So to begin with, I'd really love for you to introduce yourself. One of the most fun things that we get to do here at Skillcrush is that we get to meet people who are interested in tech and looking to make a career change from all over the world. And it's always so fun to hear your stories. So start by telling us where you're joining us from today. We'd also love to hear why are you thinking about a career in tech? And in particular, what makes you want to do it now, right? Why did you come to the webinar today? Maybe this is something that's been percolating for a while. Maybe it's something that just occurred to you. Just tell us sort of where you are in that process. And then, of course, anything you want to know about Skillcrush blueprints, which I'm going to be talking about in much greater detail. So go ahead and throw those questions in. So over the course of this webinar, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about how much of time commitment you'll actually need to make in order to learn new technical skills and make a career change. We're going to talk about how soon you can start to make money. I know this is a very, very popular topic, and I've got some great news for you guys on those fronts. We're going to talk about what you need and what you don't need to get started. So, in particular, what sort of equipment you need, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about what blueprints offer beyond both free coding resources you can find online and also, sort of a more traditional classroom environment. And then, very importantly, we're going to talk about how to compare blueprint options, because I know that, especially to someone who's new to the tech field, it often can be hard to sort of be presented with a lot of choices and be like, I don't know which one to choose. And I really want to help you through that analysis paralysis. So, and then of course we're going to talk about other topics that you guys are going to ask me questions about. So, I would love for you to surprise me with those other topics. And I just want to say that, the goal for me of this webinar is I really want to help you guys make a decision. I think that, one of the things that we see every now and again is that we have students or prospective students who have been researching different options for months and months and months. And I have to say, from my own experience, although it's great to research and be prepared when you're making important choices, it's also good to remember that it's very hard to sort of figure things out without actually trying them. So, whether or not a blueprint is right for you, I just really want to help you make that choice today. So I'm hoping that we can give you enough information for you to make a choice that you feel good about, whether that is delaying enrolling or deciding that, working in tech just isn't for you. Although I don't know why you would think that. But anyways. Okay, so without further ado, I just want to go ahead and dive right in. So the first question that I'm going to address is, how many hours do I really have to put aside to complete a blueprint? So our blueprints, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, our blueprints are traditionally structured around 3 classes that are each a month long. So it's 3 months total. And for those offerings, we estimate that you need to set between 1 hour and 2 hours a day aside in order to do the work, or between 8 and 10 hours a week. So a lot of our students will go ahead and sort of dedicate like chunks of time as opposed to doing it daily. That said, it does vary a little bit, meaning that for some of our classes, are a little bit on the easier side, and those will take less time, versus other classes are a little bit harder, so those can take a little bit more time. Also, to a certain extent, this is all variable in so much as a lot of the work you're going to be doing is project-based, and to that extent, like you can really modulate how much time you want to work on a project, but they're really designed to be flexible. They're designed for people who are working full-time or part-time or have other family obligations. This is like, our blueprints are not, they're an alternative to the kind of more, or not more common, but like there's sort of been the rise of this kind of intensive boot camp model in the last couple of years, where students are going, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They code. And that's all they do for that time period that they're in school. And so we're not that model, right? Our model is, we want to provide a solution that can fit into your life, that doesn't require for you to quit your job, or, bail on your family or whatever it is, but that, can work around your schedule. So I hope that answers that question. I will say, and we'll talk about this in greater detail a little bit later, that said, we do have options for students who are looking for something that requires, or let's put it this way, not something that requires more time, but that are interested in putting more time in. So we do have some options for students who are looking to maybe spend fully 20, 30, 40 hours a week learning. We do have options for that. How soon can I become completely marketable? Start taking on clients or transfer to a new job? Such an important question, right? Because this is, at the end of the day, I like to say that at least what we really like is, obviously there are people who enroll in Skillcrush because they're just interested in coding or design and just want to sort of pick it up as a hobby. But our bread and butter is really training our students in marketable tech skills that they can use to make money, either by taking on freelance clients or getting a new job. So our commitment to you is that we're going to teach you the skills to the level where you will be ready to use them in a professional context. So our goal is to get you ready to take on your first paying freelance client before you finish your blueprint. And what that looks like in practice varies a little bit by the blueprint you take, but it means that within 3 months, we would like you to be ready, or we're aiming to have you ready to take on a freelance project. Now, it is important to note that this is your first freelance project. So we're not talking about replacing your full-time income within 3 months, unless you were to do one of our accelerated programs. But we are looking to, sort of a benchmark for us is that you can make as much money as you invested in your course. So if you did a blueprint and invested $400, we like to help our students make their money back within the time frame that they are doing the classes. So in order to help you do that, our courses are filled with practical projects that you can use to build a portfolio. This also addresses another common question that we get, which is this question of, do I need a certificate or a bachelor's, or how do I otherwise kind of prove to a future employer that I have the skills that I say that I have? And that's really where a portfolio comes in. And this is something that, is a little bit different about working, I think, in the sort of creative and technical fields, where it's not that, it's not valued to have a fancy degree in computer science or what have you. But what we see over and over again is that what employers are really looking for is just work samples. They want to see that you can do what you say you can do. And the way that you show that to them is that you show them projects that you have done. When you take a blueprint, you will also get an unlimited access to a ton of career and job resources, and I'll talk about those a little bit more later. And so the goal of those is really to help you to figure out how to take these skills that you've learned and put them into practice in a professional context, because I really do believe that, learning technical skills and all of this is really a two-part or two-pronged thing, in that you both need to learn the skill and then you need to learn how to market yourself and take advantage of the skill. And they are two separate but complementary skill sets, and we teach both of them. So, and then depending on what blueprint option you choose, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, you may also get monthly one-on-one support from a dedicated career counselor. And in that situation, obviously you would be getting all that much more support in terms of applying for work. But I will tell you that our All Access program is the program that is really, really geared towards helping you land that job. And our goal there is to get you ready to have a new job within 9 months. And so that includes all the skill building, all the portfolio building, some freelance work to get you to build that portfolio, and then the whole process of getting ready to really identify jobs that you're interested in and begin to apply for them, and interview and do all of that. Okay, so another common question we get is, what kind of hardware and software will I need to get started? So the answer is that you really don't need a lot of fancy stuff in order to get started. So what you need is a computer. You need that computer to have internet access. You also do need to have a computer that you are able to download software on. Now, the requirements for software and tools depends a little bit by the blueprint. So I can talk about that a little bit more if we talk about specific blueprints. But for example, the visual design blueprint teaches a lot of the Adobe suite. So then you would need to purchase a subscription to the Adobe Creative Cloud. Also, a fair number of our blueprints require that you launch your own website. Obviously, we can't make you do anything, but we really, really encourage it because that's a really important step in building your portfolio and getting experience. And in that case, you would need to purchase a domain name. And I'm sorry for the siren that you can hear, life in New York City. But you need to purchase a domain name and web hosting. And domain names are usually between $15 and $20. That's just I think that's a year, actually, I guess. Yeah, it's per year. And then web hosting, it can vary. Depending on the type of web hosting, it could be up to $50 or $80. I actually think $80 is probably high a month, but it can actually be as low as like $10. So, and those are all just decisions that you are going to make in the process of your blueprint and figuring out, what makes sense for you. Okay, another great question, which is, what makes Skillcrush better than free online coding schools? We got another question here up there in our in the questions ahead of time that said, and I'll just read it. I read a review about one of your programs, and it said they could have easily taught themselves to code with Code Academy and saved a lot of dollars, and regretted doing one of the Skillcrush programs. So, and this person then said, please do not think I'm trying to be a downer. I just have a tight budget, and I'm really determined to learn design and coding. Could you clarify? So this is a really good and important question. And I'm actually really appreciative that someone asked it. So what I wanted to say is that this is a really good example of where it's really important that you know yourself and know what's going to be right for you. So, when you've purchased a Skillcrush program, you get access to at least 3 classes. Depending on the program, you may get access to more. Our classes are, sort of very structured. We work really hard on our curriculum. We work really hard to make sure that you are going to learn everything you need to learn, but not too much, which is, important for overwhelm and things like that. But I really think that the most important thing that you're going to get out of a Skillcrush program that you are not going to get out of a free coding class is the instructors. So what we have here at Skillcrush is an amazing team of instructors. They are all people who either teach at Skillcrush part-time and work professionally otherwise, or they are people who have worked professionally in the past and now work full-time at Skillcrush helping students. They're experts in their fields. They come from a mix of backgrounds, right? Some of them have computer science degrees. Some of them are self-taught. Some of them have done boot camps, so they really run the gamut. Some of them are Skillcrush students who have gone on to have great success and then come back to be teachers. It's a really wonderful mix, which I think is really amazing. And they're really here for you. Like, they're here to help you as you go through the program. Although we also have career counselors, which is separate. They are able to provide a fair amount of career counseling and advice and sort of share with you their experiences. And I think this is really, I think really there's 2 things that you're going to get out of a Skillcrush program or maybe 3 things. Okay, I'll go with 3. One is the instructor support. The second is that we design the program for you. And I understand that might not sound like a lot, but I think that one of the most challenging things about these free online programs is actually not that there's not enough of them. It's that there's too many of them and there's too much information, which is sort of ironic. But the thing is that when you're a beginner, it's very hard to navigate and to prioritize and to understand what it is you need to learn and what you don't need to learn. And what I've seen happen with a lot of beginners is they will just fall down every single rabbit hole. And I totally understand that. And frankly, this is, again, where you have to really determine what makes sense for you. Like, if you feel like you have a clear understanding of the path that you should take and you think that you're able to put together your own learning path through online free coding resources, and you don't need, maybe you have someone in your life who you can talk to and ask questions of, and you don't feel like you need instructor support, or lots of people, and so therefore, I was going to say the other part that's really important about Skillcrush is the community. Both, yes, live video office hours. One of the best things about Skillcrush is the other people that you meet, and we have a Slack channel of alumni that is thousands of people strong. They're on there all the time. Every time I open it up, there's hundreds of new messages. They're helping each other. They're, getting each other jobs. They're working through coding challenges and all of that stuff. And it's a really, really amazing network and community. And it's really important. I think it's really important for everyone to have that, but especially if you maybe live in an area of the country where you don't have a lot of access to other people in tech. Anyway, so those are all the benefits of working at Skillcrush. The other thing to keep in mind is that we do have a money-back guarantee, so a 30-day money-back guarantee, because we want you to love it. And if you don't love it, we don't want to hold you hostage, because that's not fun for anyone, us included. So I hope that you, see that it's not, that maybe, if you're interested, you can give it a try and it's not too high risk. And then, of course, also I'm I hope you read some of our other positive reviews. If you guys haven't checked out the reviews, there is coursereport.com/schools/Skillcrush. You can also just go on Course Report and search Skillcrush. And there's literally 197 reviews about our program. So you should definitely take a look at those if you're curious about the experience that people have had taking our courses. All right, let me just take a quick sip of water, check in. All right. So Rich asks, I'm not sure if a WordPress blueprint is the right option. With so many choices available, which is the right one for me? So this is a great question. Let me just check one thing. Okay, cool. So I see that there's lots of questions coming in. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is where we can really get into the meat of our different programs. And please let me know if you have questions as we go through this. And so this is probably what a lot of you are here for. Okay, so we really have 3 different offerings. So the first offering is our Skillcrush blueprints. And this is our signature product that we have sold for, God, I don't know, 4 years or so. We've had thousands of students take our blueprints. They're really fun, and it's probably what you're most familiar with our offering. So our career blueprints, the way they work is that they're a collection of 3 classes. Each class is a month long. So they vary from 3 to 4 weeks, just so you got a sense of that. And what the blueprints, and each specific class, obviously, but more importantly, the blueprints really have a specific skill focus. So they're sort of, we've kind of taken the whole big world of tech, and we've sort of, we've carved off little chunks and packaged them up and created these blueprints. So for example, the blueprints that we currently offer are a visual designer blueprint, a web designer blueprint, a front-end developer blueprint, a web developer blueprint, and a WordPress developer blueprint. So the visual designer blueprint teaches the core skills associated with visual design. This is branding, color theory, type, forms, all of that. The web designer blueprint really focuses on web design. So you learn how to design websites, user experience design. You also learn how to code websites in that blueprint. And then we actually teach quite a bit about freelancing as a web designer. The front-end developer blueprint is all about the front-end technologies, and that means HTML and CSS, responsive coding, so coding for every type of platform, and JavaScript. The web developer blueprint is a little bit of it's like a mini full stack program, and that means that you learn HTML and CSS, you learn JavaScript, and you learn Ruby. And then the WordPress developer blueprint is really focused on WordPress. So this is also the only one of our blueprints that does have a prerequisite, which is that you need to know HTML and CSS before you go into the WordPress developer blueprint. So again, just to sort of make sure that it's clear, our blueprints are 3 classes. They're each a month long, so they're each a 3-month program, and they're really sort of focused on a specific skill set. So our blueprints are perfect for you if you have a specific skill in mind that you want to learn. You want to start with a smaller time commitment, meaning it's only a 3-month program. So, maybe you're sort of in this position where you're like, I think I want to go, into a career in tech, but I'm not quite ready to go all in on it, but I do want to learn more about the tech industry, see if I like coding. That's, another question that came up. How do I know if I'm going to like it? And it's like, well, you have to give it a try. But it's really fun. And in my experience, what usually happens is people are surprised at how much they like it. And the other thing is that although we do offer some career counseling in a couple of our blueprints, namely in the web designer blueprint and the WordPress developer blueprint, we do offer some career counseling. These are much more sort of focused on skill building. You will have access to our whole career platform, so that material is there for you. But in general, the support and mentorship you're going to get is more about the skills than it is about jobs. So those are our blueprints. Then we have the WordPress Blueprint package. And what the WordPress Blueprint package is a special discounted package of 3 of our most popular blueprints. So So if you enroll in the WordPress Blueprint package, what you get is the Visual Designer Blueprint, the Front-End Developer Blueprint, and the WordPress Developer Blueprint, and you get it at a really big discount. So it's basically, you know, if you know that you want to learn all those skills, why not purchase the WordPress Blueprint package? It's a phenomenal deal. You're basically getting the 3 blueprints at the cost of a little bit more than 2 blueprints. You get lifetime access to all the material. It's just a really good deal. And yes, so this blueprint package is right for you if you know you want to learn WordPress. What it'll do is it'll teach you the prerequisites that you need to know, and then you'll learn WordPress. And also, if you're interested in freelancing, or and if you want to be able to provide your clients with a soup to nuts offering, so that means that you're able to design and build websites for them, and do both the front-end development and the WordPress development. And this is basically sort of the perfect set of skills that you're going to need if you want to go into freelancing. Okay, so finally what we have the All Access Blueprint, and this is our newest blueprint. And I see that there's a question from Sandra, which is, she had a question, which is, can you talk more about your accelerated programs? I didn't see that as an option on your website. So this is our accelerated program. The All Access Career Blueprint is a 9-month program, and what you get is you get unlimited access to the entire library of Skillcrush courses. So what makes the All Access Blueprint different is you can go at your own pace. It's a customized learning path for your specific goals. So for example, if you're interested in freelancing, we will customize the path and the classes that you take in order to get you there as quickly as possible. On the other hand, if you're interested in a specific type of tech job, we will make that what the focus of your learning path is. And most importantly is you don't need to know going in. All you need to know going in is that you want to make a career change and you're ready to put in the time to do it. In addition, for the All Access Blueprint, you get monthly career counseling and job search support. So we're really, really focused on helping you to change careers. And really, I would just say that the purpose of this blueprint and this product is that it's going to give you everything you need to learn and launch a new career. I see a question from Curtis, which says, can I progress faster than the scheduled 3 months per section on All Access Blueprint? And the answer is absolutely. The goal of the All Access Blueprint is it really is a go at your own pace. We call it a 9-month program because it's designed, our estimate is that for the average student, it's going to take 9 months to go through. But if you want to go through it faster, by all means. What else can I tell you about this program? I think, it's our best program. It's what we have designed this program based on our learnings over the last 4 years of teaching thousands of students. And our goal with it is really to help you to launch a new career. What are other questions I can answer? Oh, Jill is asking, so right now we have a special offer, which I will talk to you about a little bit later, which is that you can get lifetime access for the All Access Blueprint. So traditionally what you can do for the All Access Blueprint is you can either pay monthly as you go, or you can pay for 12 months of access for $14.99, which is a discount. But right now what we're offering is an All Access Blueprint with lifetime access, which means that your access would not get cut off after 12 months. It would actually continue forever. So you would have access to the material in your All Access Blueprint in perpetuity. And if you, Jill also had a question, which is I can sign up and just delay getting started for 2 weeks. And the answer to that question is absolutely. And since you'll have lifetime access, it won't matter that you're delaying it by 2 weeks. Okay. And also Hillary is reminding me that I should say that you'll get lifetime access to courses that you don't take. So let's say you take certain classes, but you skip over other ones, you'll be able to come back at any time and take those. Are there any other questions that I can answer about Oh, Chris has a great question, which is how intensive is the time commitment with the all access blueprint versus the blueprints? So the answer to that question is that it's more flexible. So whereas with a blueprint, it's sort of paced at this like 1 to 2 hours a day pace, the all access blueprint, if you wanted to, you could do it less quickly. Maybe if you bought the the lifetime access, then that sort of takes the pressure off a little. You don't need to, because obviously when you're paying monthly, it's in your best interest to get done as quickly as possible. But say you were to buy the lifetime access, then you could just sort of really take it at whatever pace you wanted and was comfortable. Versus the blueprints, where you do want to sort of keep up with the class, because that's how you're going to have access to questions and the instructors and all of that stuff. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of special offers that we have going right now. One is that the WordPress Blueprint package includes until through May 31st, you will get a bonus course. And that bonus course is called Building Your Freelance Business course. So that's really designed to help you to take the skills that you learn in the WordPress Blueprint package, the visual design, the front-end development, the WordPress development, and parlay that into a freelance career. So that is available as long as you buy by May 31st. You will get that free Building Your Freelance Business course. So you can take a look at this at skillcrush.com/WordPress-blueprint-package. And I'm sure one of my team members will post that link in the comments so that you have access to it. And then, if you're interested in sort of making that serious commitment and making that career change, I would love to have you in the All Access Career Blueprint. And like I mentioned earlier, if you purchase if you do the one-time payment for the All Access Blueprint, you will get lifetime access to every single class. And that is going to be available through May 31st. So seriously consider that option. Okay. Also, I just wanted to welcome Guido and Susie, who have just purchased our WordPress Blueprint package. We're so happy. You're going to learn so many amazing things. I'm so excited for you. Okay. So I'm just going to keep, I would like to, okay, one other thing, actually, and this is really important, which is that we're having a special flash sale for webinar attendees. This is only for people who attend in this webinar. It ends at tonight at midnight, and it's the code, you get $200 off of any one-time payment. So that's of the All Access Blueprint. So this is, if you want lifetime access, very special, just until midnight tonight, you can get it for $12.99 instead of $14.99. So that is an amazing deal. The amount of classes you're going to get. I mean, you are getting access to all of our blueprint material, plus all of our career coaching. This is really a remarkable deal. So the code is AMA200 off. Okay, so now with that in mind, I would like to answer the rest of your questions. So I am just going to do my best to hit them all. Okay, so I see that Amina has a question, which is, can you really move at your own pace with the All Access Blueprint, or are there benchmarks that you need to meet by a certain period of time? So Amina, the answer is you can really move at your own pace. There are benchmarks. We call them milestones, and they're sort of milestone projects. And obviously, we encourage you to sort of, like, our goal for you is to do this within 9 months, just because we find that that's a really nice amount of time. It gives you enough time to really learn some skills, build up some experience, but then it also will allow you to feel like you are getting a return on your investment within a reasonable amount of time. And we see that that's a really reasonable, time frame. You really are able to sort of build up the skill set that you need and be ready to apply for jobs. But there's, that said, like, there's no falling behind in the All Access Blueprint. does lifetime access mean access to only the materials or also to interacting with instructors and other students? So definitely both the material and interacting with instructors and other students, 100%. Okay. So Sandra asks, how much of the instruction is live by teachers or is it by video? Do teachers review your code? So to the first question, the way our classes are set up is that the material is pre-recorded and that allows you to do it at any time that you want. We do special, special master classes and things like that that are live. So do keep that in mind. I lost your question. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Yes, and then the other question is, do your teachers review your code? And the answer to that question is yes. It depends a little bit on the program, and what you have to do is, and it depends a little bit on the challenge. So certain challenges are really small. You're writing like relatively small code, and you're always welcome to ask for feedback, but it's not automatic. Whereas with some of the bigger projects, your instructor will review it with you. And this is also where going to office hours is really important, because that way you can review code in person and live. Okay, Daisy asks, is it possible to find work following the program with no additional background or degree in tech? And the answer to that question is absolutely. In fact, I would say that, I don't know, 90% of our students, if not more, do not have any background or a degree in tech. Almost none of our students have actual degrees in computer science. We have had that a couple of times, and tends to be some students who are maybe got the degree a while ago and haven't been working in the field. But yes, absolutely. That's the whole purpose of this program, is to provide you with an alternative to going back to school. So I hope that answers that question. Leanna asks, how do I know if coding is right for me? Will I like it? I really think that if you're interested and curious about it, you probably will like it. You should just give it a try. Stephanie asks, what is the typical starting salary for a front-end developer job? So it's a very good question, Stephanie. I can tell you that on average, the starting salary is around the $65,000 mark, which is great. I think it's, that's a great starting salary. That said, it does depend on where you are in the country. In some areas, it can be significantly higher. I haven't seen a lot of salaries that are significantly lower than that, which can be great news. And in certain areas of the country, like making $65,000 goes a lot further than in other areas. But yeah, I would say that's about what you're looking at for most beginning front-end developer jobs. Okay. So Eric asks, why is there a start date with blueprints? Do the blueprints live in a sequence? What's that about? Yes, exactly. So basically, the reason why we have a start date on the blueprints is because the way that they work is that we enroll everyone at the same time, and sort of we run the course like a course with students. So you're going to meet your fellow students. There's instructors. There's live office hours and that kind of thing. If that isn't what feels right to you, then I would encourage you to look at the All Access Blueprint. You're still going to have students, fellow students, and instructors, but the schedule is going to be more customized to you. Inez asks, how's freelancing really working out for people? Could I eventually quit my day job? Yes, freelancing is working great. And we actually have some case studies, and I'll actually ask my team to put links to them. So we have some awesome students, some that come to mind is Rachel Moldovan or Sarah Greer. We just published a story about one of our students who transitioned into a job. Yeah, so freelancing is awesome, and we have absolutely seen students quit their day jobs in order to go full-time freelance. That said, it takes a while to build up freelance clients. That is just a reality that we all have to deal with. It's just like, when you start a business or when you start anything, it is the kind of thing where you You know, the hardest part is getting that first client or that second client, like, you know, and then things will start to really pick up and you'll start to, you know, build up word of mouth and all of that. So, and, you know, that's really why we encourage you. What you'll find if you enroll in our classes is that we encourage you to start that process as early as possible, which is usually quite a bit earlier than students believe it to be possible, because it does take time for things to get going. But, you know, we work very hard to help our students through that process and get you to the point, you know, where you could replace your full-time income as soon as possible. Okay. Mary asks, I'm thinking about the WordPress blueprint package, but I want to do the visual blueprint first. Is that possible? Mary, yes, that is possible. And what you should do is go ahead and purchase the blueprint package and then shoot us an email at hello@Skillcrush and we can help you to get that set up. Chris asks, do you offer resources where we can do additional projects for practice and mastery as we follow the course? Yes, absolutely. Throughout the course, the instructors will be sharing with you lots of additional resources. And we also host masterclasses where you can learn, you know, some more specialized skills or just learn from somebody who's working in the field and to help sort of supplement what you're learning in class. So Van asks, if we like the WordPress blueprint package but want the lifetime access, should we get the all access? So the WordPress blueprint package actually comes with lifetime access to that material. So that should be fine for that purposes. That said, if you do the all access, you will get access to not only the classes in the WordPress blueprint package, but all of our classes, which includes Ruby, Ruby on Rails, mobile development, and a host of other sort of freelance and business related courses. So I would encourage you to consider that as an option if you're interested. Cool. What other questions can I answer? I'm just checking with my team. All right, so I just want to make sure. So if you guys have any more questions, we will happily answer them after the webinar. Oh, Hillary just reminded me of one really important question, and I will actually, I will do this one on camera because I think it's such an important topic and it's one we get asked so much of the time. So we've gotten a couple questions from prospective students who are asking, am I too old to do this? And, you know, I read a question like that from somebody who said that they were 60, I believe, and then someone who said that they were like 38. You know, I think this is a really interesting question. And I was thinking about this a lot recently because I was talking to a friend of mine who's in his 30s, and he was sort of mulling over, you know, maybe transitioning careers and kind of feeling like, oh God, but if I do that, like it's going to take a couple years and then I'll be in my like mid to late 30s. And, you know, that's sort of, I don't like that idea. So I think that there's two facets of this question. So the first facet is whether, you know, whether the industry that you're going into is friendly and amenable to people of all ages, right? So I think that the answer to that is that obviously there are parts of the tech industry that are very young. Granted, it's getting older as the tech industry matures. But sure, of course, like we've all heard about these startups run by 22-year-olds, yada, 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 yada. I think that often these stories are overblown and they're not as common as you think, but I understand people's concern about that. And the truth of the matter there is that it is illegal for people to discriminate by age. But I can understand how maybe if you're in your 40s or 50s, you're not dying to go work at a company where everyone's 20 years old. Totally legit. I understand. That said, what is happening in tech right now is really that tech is pervading every industry. So I really don't want you to think that it's all young people and that you're going to be the odd man out, being, whatever it is your definition of too old is, right? Which I, see varies quite a bit. But I think the other part of this is really a personal question, right? And it's this question for yourself of, do you feel too old to be doing this thing, right? Because I think often what we're saying, because it's like, who really cares what other people think? Why would it matter? I don't know. It's like this hypothetical person who would care that you're older. And the truth is usually that sort of mirage of a person that you're worried about thinking you're too old is really you. It's you talking to yourself and saying, I'm too old for this. And, I just think that this is really where, where we just all have to sort of say to ourselves, I've got a lot of life to live. This is an interesting and exciting opportunity. There's a lot going on here. What is my alternative? Yes, this is a little uncomfortable and it feels a little risky. But the thing is that staying in our comfort zone, you know what it is, right? It is what you're living right now. And depending on what you're dealing with, maybe it's, maybe you're doing work that you don't care about. Maybe you're not making a lot of money. Maybe, you don't have the work-life balance you want. Maybe you don't have the flexibility you want. And the bottom line is that you deserve better. You deserve to make more money if that's what you want to do, or have more flexibility, or just enjoy your work, or be more excited. So whatever it is that's making you feel frustrated or stuck, I think it's just important that you honor that and, don't let what is at the end of the day an arbitrary and almost exclusively self-imposed restriction on age stop you from doing what you want to do. So I hope that helps you guys to think about the age issue. Okay, so I hear that we have a couple of more questions. Is the Skillcrush program, Chris asks, a good fit for flex jobs? And yes, absolutely. And if you look at flex jobs, there's quite a few that require technical skills, and then there's a lot of other sites that are like flex jobs that are also looking for people with technical skills. So Jerome is asking, what if I already know HTML and CSS? So Jerome, first of all, that would make you qualified to take our WordPress Developer Blueprint. If you were to sign up for the All Access Blueprint, that's great. You would just skip the HTML and CSS class and go right to building your first website, which is the first milestone you need to do. So you should, no problem there. What else? Emily asks, how do salaries compare between getting into an entry-level job and freelancing? This is a good question, and they're comparable in my experience. The difference, I guess, is that there's less barriers to entry to freelancing for you, meaning that in some ways it can be easier to start making money. So that's a positive. Whereas you may not. And freelance can scale faster sometimes. And this is a really big topic. And again, this is also going to depend on where you are in the country and all of those things. So, and what clients you go after and stuff like that. I think if you're looking to really maximize your income as a freelancer, there's a lot. It's a really, really big topic, and there's a lot of things that we can talk about in that regard. So this is definitely something that you would work with your career counselor on. Jenny asks, the course is still applied to people in other countries. Are you able to help set clients up in other countries? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We have a fair number of students who work all over the place. So yeah, and we help students get remote work also. So there's a lot of different options. And one of the beauties of working in tech is that you're really not sort of locked into a specific place. I think, cool. Oh, and it looks like Sasha just enrolled in the All Access Blueprint. So Sasha, welcome. We're so excited to have you. That's fantastic. All right. Okay, so I see there's a question that says, I need web administration background, like site security, understanding hosting servers, and site speed and functionality. Are things like that covered? We do cover that a little bit in the WordPress developer blueprint, as well as the Ruby on Rails blueprint, or the Ruby on Rails classes. The only way you can get access to those classes is through the All Access blueprint. So I hope that helps that. And a little bit, I guess, in terms of site speed in the front-end developer, but not as much. Then asks, how much SEO do we learn? So that is covered in the WordPress classes, because that's such a common issue with WordPress blogs. It's not a ton. We're much more focused on sort of design and development skills, but we do cover the topic a little bit because it's such a common issue. So Denise is asking, what do you find in your students getting remote work after completing a program? What is the average turnaround time for them to get their first entry-level job? So we've had students get jobs as quickly as 3 months into the program, but our goal is really to help you get work within 9 months. And in terms of remote jobs, I guess I'm actually not totally sure what you're asking, but I'll just tell you that we do have quite a few students who have landed remote work after doing our program, which is really awesome. Okay, so right now, Jim says, right now, the security of a corporate structure feels right to me. I have a good sense for the webinar, from the webinar, the path to follow for freelancing, but what about the corporate tech job seeker? So Jim, this is a great question. And the answer is that it's actually a very similar path. And the difference is that, so with a freelancer, what you would do is you would start off freelancing, and then we would work with you to really build up that freelancing to get enough experience, or I mean, just so that it's replacing your, your current full-time salary, or just meeting whatever salary goal you have. With full-time work, what we would do is we would have you start freelancing. And the reason for that is because what happens often for people who are entry level is that they get stuck in this kind of catch-22 situation where it's like, you need experience to get experience. And so that's what we use freelancing for. Freelancing is an amazing way to get experience with a much lower barrier to entry. So we'll start you off doing that and building up your portfolio of work. And then we'll just work with you to prepare your resume, prepare your portfolio, prepare your cover letters, really identify jobs that are gonna be good for you, help you figure out how to network, do all that stuff that you need in order to land a full-time job. Okay. Van is asking, like, showing clients how to back up their own sites, or when they ask me how to pick a good domain register. Yes. Okay. So those topics are really, I would say, they're most comprehensively covered in the WordPress blueprint classes, which you could also get in the All Access blueprint. We talk a lot about, best practices around backing up sites. all of that, and picking hosting companies and that stuff. All right. Who's got more questions? Oh yeah, and Hillary wants to make sure that you guys know about our jobs newsletter, where we send out a collection of 5 jobs a week, many of which are remote jobs. So we go through and find jobs that are great for our students, and then we send them out. You guys make sure to sign up for that. Okay. I believe that there is a question about whether or not we offer certificates, and the answer is we do offer certificates. Though I will tell you that in my